Y'all, my butter dish broke, so I have this. It's a little Pyrex dish. See this? And I turned it upside down, and I'm using the top of it for my butter dish. Cut the butter in half, and it fits perfectly. Isn't that great? So what I'm doing here, buttering this bread. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any sliced bread. Otherwise, I would be having a grilled cheese sandwich. But I don't. So I'm just buttering this bread. I'm going to toast it and make cheese toast, which should be good, even better. So I'm going to put this in the broiler in a second and toast the bread, and then I'll sprinkle some cheese on the top of it and run it back under the broiler for another minute or so, just to melt the cheese. And that'll give me some good cheese toast instead of a grilled cheese sandwich. And I think that'll be good. What do you think? Happy with that idea? So there we go. And this is how cool it is in my house. This butter has been sitting out at room temperature. It's spreadable, but it's, you know, it's not really as soft as it could be. But it's still okay. So there's my bread ready. I've got my cheese ready. This is the easiest tomato soup in the world. I'm making tomato basil soup. You could make it tomato basil bisque if you added milk to it. I'm not. I'm just doing tomato soup. A can of Campbell's tomato soup. Tomato soup is so easy. And you know, I could end it with this. I could just add a can of water or milk and make tomato soup. But I'm going one step further, and this is what makes the difference. Okay, 1 can of tomato soup and a can of diced tomatoes. Fresh tomatoes? Absolutely. If you've got fresh tomatoes, absolutely. These are Clover Value. This is Dollar General's brand. And I haven't found that it makes a difference using whatever, you know, using a name brand or a store brand of tomatoes. We put the tomatoes in there. And stir it up. Stir it and turn on the heat. It needs a little bit of water. Not much though, because you've got the juice that's in with the tomatoes. So I'm going to, I'll put a little bit of water in here and rinse this out. Not much. About a half can. About a half of a can of water. Just swirling that around. And I pour that in this other can and swirl that around back and forth for a minute to wash them out. And then pour that in there. So that's a can of tomato soup, a can of diced tomatoes, and about a half can of water. And just warm it up. Okay, now I'm going to turn my oven on broil. Oh, that looks good. Turn the oven on to broil. I'm going to put this bread in the oven and toast it. Once that's toasted, I'll get that back out again. Let me turn this light on. That's a little bit better. So let's stir up the soup. And right now I've got this on high. And I'm going to continue to stir it a little bit every now and then until it starts to simmer right around the edge. And then I'll turn it down. I don't want to cook it on high. But basically with tomato soup, all you have to do is just heat it up until it's hot. That's all I'm doing. But this is better because of the fresh tomato. Well, it would be much better with fresh tomatoes. But because of the chunks of the tomato in there and the tomato juice, this is really yummy. Getting stuff out of the bottom of a jar. Cleaning up my mixing bowls. Getting things out of the bottom of a can. That's what I use my silicone spatulas for. That's about it. Everything else I use wooden spoons. But I'm smelling this toast. Oh yeah, it's done. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look good? Now I'm going to just put that on top of that right now. So you can see me put the cheese on. And I'm just going to sprinkle cheese on. I usually slice the cheese and put it on here. But I may use some more of this later on, and I only had a little bit of the cheddar cheese, and I wanted to save some, so it makes, to me, it's a little more economical to just put some grated cheese on there. And that's going to be good. And that should be enough. And I'll wait until the soup is done, and then I will stick this back in here for just a minute. To melt the cheese. Look at this. The soup is starting to bubble around the edges. And turn this down. And stir it to a simmer. Stir it up. Stir it really good until it bubbles in the middle. And then it's warmed up enough. It'll be good enough to eat. Now at this point, now that it has started to bubble, I'm going to put some basil on it. Just a little bit in here. Just crumble up a little bit. This is my basil from my garden. Ooh, there's a stem. I don't want that stem. Let's get that stem out. A little bit more. A big piece. Let's stir that in. Then I'll put some more on the top of my bowl. And I didn't measure that. What was that? Maybe a tablespoon total? That's only a guess. I don't know. Not going to take long for this to be done. Get a spoon and taste this and see how warm it is in here in the middle. Not quite good enough yet. But look at this. Do you see this? Can you see right in here? These bubbles are starting to come up right there in the middle. Move this down here. Zoom in a little bit on it. See the bubbles coming up in the middle? This is done. So turn that off. Now I'm going to put the bread back under the broiler just for a second to melt the cheese. And I'll be done. Ready to eat. How easy is that? Like that. Yum. Yum, yum. Let's taste this and see. Yum. Very hot. It's so good. Give me a slurp. So, you need to do this. It is so good, so easy, so fast, and really, really delicious. Bye, y'all. See you next time.